Do you know that Oba and Omo is an Edo language and not Yoruba? Let me explain. Yoruba is a race, Edo is a tribe. Yoruba people have different ancestry, but their unification today will not make some people understand this. Edo people in general has the same ancestral DNA, like the Akoko Edos, the Onwans, the Esans, and the Esakos. They all have ancestry from Benin. So Edo is a tribe. Every other tribe you see inside Edo state are migrants and not founders. The original Yoruba people that owns the Yoruba language today are the Oyo people. Oyo has the Alaafin, who is the head of the Yorubas. Alaafin, being the emperor of the whole of Yoruba land today, was the reason he sent the Yoruba people to the British in 19th century. So when Oromiyan got to Oyo, he didn't rule over himself. He met people at Oyo Katunga. So Oyo people are far older than Omonoyan or Oromiyan. The language we now call Yoruba today was borrowed from Oyo Empire. Oyo was so powerful during her empire days that even till date, the cultural ways of life of Oyo people still reflect in the Yoruba movies. Every other tribe under the umbrella of Yoruba today has their ancestral language. This is why some other may speak and some other ones may not understand. A lot of persons may not agree with this, but this is the truth. Oyo language is very unique, which I personally find interesting. But Oyo people borrowed words from Nupes, the Arabs, and Edo people from Benin precisely. This is why an Ife man may speak and a Wuri man will not understand. An Ilaje man may speak and a Kiti man will not understand. This is for you to know they all have their ancestral language aside the Oyo language. The highest rate of Aworis in Eko today are ancestrally from Benin, though some trace their ancestry to other locations. But Benin had great influence on the Yoruba people in Eko today from 16th century till 1897. This is why an Awori man today will greet his fellow Awori man with the word Kitigbe. The other Awori man will respond Ogbere. An Esan man in Edo State might ask his other Esan man Onegbe, or he will ask Bodi Aye, they will still answer Ofure. During the empire days in West Africa, Benin influenced over 40% of the Yoruba people you see today, and Oyo influenced over 60%. Places like Owo, Akure, Ijebu, Ekiti, Eko were all under the influence of Benin. This is why in their local language, you hear the words of Benin inside their own language, but they cannot trace the ancestry of that same word to the Oyo, which is the general Yoruba language. Oyo Empire itself was originally made up of the Nupes, the Baribas, the Benins through Oromia, and the Oyo people themselves. So every other language you hear outside the territory of Oyo today was influenced by the invaders and settlers from the Benin Empire who conquered these territories. I love Yoruba in general. The people are very unique people with their culture. There is one Yoruba boy online that claimed Idu and Orene is a Yoruba word. I asked over 20 Yoruba people. They were shocked to have heard that word Orene, and they couldn't even pronounce the GH as it is not in the general Yoruba lexicon. So they were calling it Oene, and they couldn't pronounce Idu properly. This is to tell you there are some people you don't listen to online. The same boy even went as far as lying that Okuku is originally from Ile-Ife. He claimed that Yoruba people are the owners of Okuku as it originated from their ancestral land called Ile-Ife, according to him. The Benin people has been using Okuku as their traditional hairdo since the reign of Ogisos. The original hairdo of the Yoruba people is called the Shuku, and they might also have other ones, but the Shuku is one of the most popular ones, as Yoruba people do not do the beaded hairdo. The only people in Yoruba land that practice the Okuku hairdo are the Owo, and if you read back to history, Owo was greatly influenced by the Benin people. Going to the word Omo. Omo originally in Edo language means child. Child in Yoruba language, like I said earlier, the original Yoruba language is from Oyo, and the Oyo people call child Larundo. The word Omo had already been in existence even before Ekaladeran was born. Ekaladeran wandered to Uhe in today's Kogi state and later to Ile-Ife. While Ekaladeran's arrival in Ile-Ife influenced so many things like their culture, their language, and their deities. There were Ogisos in today's Benin that existed and used the word like Emose as a name, and there was Ogbomo as a name. These people existed over 100 years before Ekaladeran, the Oduduwa of Ife, was born, because all historians agree that Ekaladeran became Oduduwa of Ife in 11th century. So in Edo land, even before the reign of Ogisos, people bore names like Omozusi, Omoruyi, Omono, Omowa, and so many others. Some claim that Oromiyan came to Benin and influenced the language. Ask yourself, Oromiyan came and spent lesser than 6 years. The people of Benin, when he newly came, called him Omononya. They used Omo instead of Oro. They used Omononya. Ask yourself, how can a person that just came into this land influence the whole language of the people when he came with just few other people? Unlike a Kaladeran that was a warrior and a prominent medicine man that got to Ile-Ife and influenced the whole system of the people at Ile-Ife. Some even claim that Oromiyan came to conquer. Ask yourself, if Oromiyan came to conquer, he left in fear and called the land of vexation, and he left to Oyo to found the stool of Olofin or Alafin. Ask yourself why he left a child called Eweka. How can you be a conqueror and also leave a child in the land you conquered? The people in the land might even unalive your child. Wouldn't this be the fear of the person that conquered? Coming to the word Oba. Oba in Edo language is now being pronounced Oba. So many other people from the western part of Nigeria are now fighting the Edo people, saying the Oba of Yoruba language is the Oba of Benin. The Oba of Benin means shining. Oba is a sentence on its own, meaning shining. Omonobanedo is the title of the Oba of Benin. Going to the general language of the Yoruba people, which is the Oyo language, Oyo people do not have Oba as a single title, rather they have Alafin. Some ignorant people will also say Omo is the title. Why is it not pronounced in full Omonobanedo when appellating or greeting the Oba? Some people do not understand that some chiefs or some people may not find the need to call it in full Omonobanedo, as everybody already understands. So they use the word Omo. From the days of Oba Eweka I to the days of Ovora Menogbasi in 1897, there was no single monarch in the world that used the single title Oba. Because using the title Oba in any part of this world means you were drumming for war and calling for the war from the Oba of Benin. This is why Oba Eweka II created a title called Ayoba Gegbe, meaning nobody compares himself with the king. So using the title of Oba as a single title in this part of Nigeria means you are calling for war from the Oba of Benin during the imperial days. So in the Yoruba people land today, you see titles like Awujale of Ijebu, Alaafin of Oyo, Ooni of Ife. You do not see Oba of Ife or Oba of Oyo. You also see Oleko of Eko, Amakpetu of Mayin, Olugbo of Ugbo, but you do not see Oba of Ugbo. In general, it was adopted later, and I will explain. Later, after the fall of Benin Empire, the Yoruba kings saw the need to adopt the word Oba because they since loved the name and the power it commands. And this was also to reduce the power the name carries by the colonial masters. So the Yoruba people attached Oba to describe kings in their land, but originally it does not mean king here. Despite the name Oba has been since used among every other kings in Yoruba land, but the name of the Oba of Benin still command powers and it still stands. El Pluribus Unum. Just like some Ile-Ife people or the Yoruba people online, which are called the ignorant people, they will argue that in Ile-Ife there were people like Obatala or Balufon that ruled as kings. My simple question to you, did they rule with their personal name as Obatala of Ife, or they ruled with the word Ooni of Ife or any other title? If nobody used the single title Oba before 11th century, this means the Oba of Benin is the very first man and the first king on earth to use the word Oba. So using the word Oba, no matter how you pronounce it in your place, so long as you are revering your king or to God, you are revering the Oba of Benin because you adopted the name from the Oba of Benin. People should also understand that before Oba Eweka I, the very first king that used the title Oba in the world, there were also words in Edo language like Obaban, Obavan, Obota, Obanabe, Oba. Obanabe and Oba is a word inside the Ogwega Omenigbo system in Benin. The Benin system of divinity is Ogwega, which is one of the oldest divinity systems in this part of West Africa. Oba Eware Ogidigan said the listing of Obas should start from Oromiyan, which we all Edo people who are his children agree with. Originally, Oromiyan was absent when his child Eweka I was crowned. So the word Omonobanedo started from the reign of Eweka I. So people often mistake this to say Oromiyan was the first Oba. He brought Obaship as a title from Ile-Ife, whereas it was an Edo word that was used to describe Eweka, who was a young prince, as a child that shines over the people of the land as at that time. So the power of the Oba of Benin extends over the whole of Edo land. The Oba of Benin today is an emperor because he had dukes and kings under him even till date. Some people may argue that Igbo people has Obi. Obi is another word for Oba in their language, which is a lie. Obi was originally coined from the word Ovi, in 16th century during the reign of Oba Esige through Ise Leuku. That's an history for another day. So the word Oba that the Igbo people have in Enugu Ezike today, they are still ancestrally from Benin. So the word Oba still centers around the Edo language. The word for bear in Edo language is egogo. This was also borrowed from the Beninese by Oyo, which they call agogo. The Oyo people, which is the original Yoruba language, they will use E or A where we have E, just as they call Edo, Ado. So if you go to anywhere in Yoruba land, you hear Ado, they are referring to the Beninese because they call Edo, Ado. And they also use J for where we have Z. This is why we have the title Ezomo, they use Ojomo till date. Just like we call Iye and Oyo people call it Iya. For you to understand properly that Benin had great influence on some part of Yoruba land today, like Ekiti, Edo people will call the female goat Odegbe. Ekiti people will call it Iderigbe due to the influence of the Benin people there. And Oyo people will call the female goat Ewure. The Benin people will call beans E. Ekiti people will call it E. But the Oyo language will call it Ewa. The Benin people will call corn Oka. They will also call comb Oyiya. Ekiti people will call corn Oka, and they will also call comb Oyiya. Oyo people have another word for it. Just like the Benin people will call shet Ewu, Oyo people will also call it Ewu. For you to know the ancestral or the parent language or the meaning of Ewu, you will see the body markings of the Edo people. They call it Iwu. They removed the E and added the I. But Oyo people do not have the meaning for this particular thing, except they call it shirt. We have a word for shirt and trouser, which we call italawe. But Oyo people will just say ewu for clothes in general. Ogede, which is plantain, is originally an Edo word, but it was borrowed by Oyo people, which is fine. Oyo people called it Ogede because they can't pronounce the GH, which is not in the Yoruba alphabet. This is why in Edo language, you still hear words like Ugede, Ugogo, Igenge, and so many other words. Eko is another popular word, which in today's Nigeria is not popular among the Yoruba people. But originally, it's an Edo word because in 16th century, the son of Oba of Benin, Oba Esige, founded a bushy part, which he rested on, and he called that part Eko. Today, Eko is not popular among every other tribe in Nigeria, but originally, it's an Edo word. Going back to history, the Ife's account of a Caladeran's arrival, we agree that he met a man called Agbomiregun, according to them. But originally, that name is Agboniregun. Agboniregun in Edo language means the word people in the shrine. Agboniregun in Ile-Ife practiced the Ifa divination system and other means of spirituality. Even in today, you hear name in Benin like Agbon, Agbon Konkon, Agbon Ten, and so many other names. There is also a kingdom in the Urobo land today called Agbon Kingdom, and Agbo people in today's east of Benin is called Agbon. They were called Agbon originally. So the word Agbon, Agboniregun, is originally an Edo word, and it was an Edo man that migrated to that part, though many will still argue with me. Aza is another Edo word. Aza originally is an Edo word. The word Ada, Ada is a sword of state, a sword of authority, a sword that commands respect. Today, it is held closely to the Oba of Benin, which is a practice that has been on ground for centuries. Ada is a part of every Edo people's life. For example, the word Ada Negbe, Ada Gbonyi, Adabo, Adagbasa. Ada has become a popular name in Igbo land too, but the Benin people influenced this. Benin people also borrowed words from Portuguese, like the word Esage, which is the word for blood. It was gotten from the Portuguese word sangue. The trade between the Benin and the Portuguese lasted over 300 years. This is why till date, the influence of the Portuguese cannot be wiped out of Benin, and that of Benin cannot be wiped out of Portugal. The Portuguese called the yam Ihame. It was gotten from the Benin word Inya. They got those roots from this part of West Africa. And the Edo word for spoon originally was Uhehe. But over the years, the Portuguese influenced the Benin because they called spoon kuhe, and the Benin people added prefix e to call spoon ekoye. Just like Thomas Bata from Czech Republic, who was a shoemaker, he brought the Bata shoe company to Nigeria. Over the years, Edo people and Yoruba people borrowed the word Bata to be footwears, but it's not originally ours, though some Yorubas or some Edos may still argue this. Everybody borrowed word in the past, and it has stuck to our daily life. But let's not shy away from it when we talk about the history. It's so sad that this present generation wants to be above every other tribe. History is history. It doesn't care about your emotion. The words like Tuari, Tatashe, Tolo Tolo, Gaskia, Walai, Waka, Lamidi, Buka, Barawo, Alafia. These are all words borrowed from Hausa people by the Yorubas. Even Yoruba as a name was borrowed. It doesn't have a meaning in Yoruba language. This is why I'm urging everyone, as an African and as an Edo man, wear your native clothes, wear the beads and the pendant of your own people. This is to showcase your historical origin. If not, other people will define your origin for you. If you've not gotten your Kunidia pendant or you've not gotten your beads, send a DM to me. Don't take this history to heart. This is just to clarify the people that are ignorant about this history. On my next video, I'll be talking about the divination system of Yoruba people, or the deities, the difference between that of the Yorubas and the Benin people, because some people often mistake them to be the same. If you enjoyed this episode, like, share, and comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you on my next episode.